Hey there, thanks so much for dropping by the Vital Blend. I'm Anthony, and today I want to talk about type 2 diabetes and fruit, especially fruit sugars. I got this great question over on YouTube, but I thought I'd share with you an answer here. Got a message from David. He says, I love fruit and vegetables and have always eaten them, fruit every day, but have listened to a chiropractor on here that advises against fruit because of sugar. I've always been in the belief that sugar in fruit is naturally occurring, so is okay to eat as much as you like. I have type 2 diabetes through another disease, not obesity. My favorite fruit is white grapes and apples, and apparently these are the worst for sugar. I was just wondering what your advice would be regarding this. All right, the first issue here is never take health advice from a chiropractor unless, this is a big one, unless they've been trained in food as medicine. They understand the real big link between diet and disease. I wouldn't even take health advice from a medical doctor unless they've been trained in food as medicine. Because you have to understand that if they don't, they've been trained by big pharma, and they're connected with stuff that has nothing to do with healing and has nothing to do with cures or disease reversal. It has to do with disease management through toxic pills and medications and invasive procedures. In other words, misery. That's what they give you. You have to keep in mind, I'm coming from the natural world, the natural side, where there is healing, there is disease reversal. People get off of their toxic medications. This is what it's all about, all right? So that's the first thing that you have to really keep in mind is where are you getting your information from? Because getting it from the current medical system, it's distorted, and quite frankly, they don't know what they're doing. Number two is that, we can go back and forth all day long about whether fruits are healthy, whether it's got too much sugar and everything. But the thing is, just have to understand that once you understand how your body's designed and what kind of fuel your machine needs, then the arguing should be over with. You have to understand that every species in nature has a way of eating, and humans are no different. And you just take a look at our design, and you can see, if you just look around, you'll see that humans are closest to the primates just by looking at them. But if you open us up, we're designed internally identically to the primates, especially our GI tract, all right, which is 12 times the length of our spine, all right? So what is it that the primates are eating? We know that they eat a diet of about 50-50 fruits and vegetables, all right? And if you need to know what it is that you should be eating, as I've talked about before, there's the instinct test. What do your instincts tell you? What can you reach out and grab and put in your mouth and you enjoy? It's going to be fruits. Fruits are the number one food that you would reach out, grab, put in your mouth and enjoy, much more than vegetables, all right? Fruits are also perfectly in alignment with what's on your tongue. Your tongue tastes for carbohydrate, which is simple sugars. Fruits are simple sugars, okay? So, I don't know how much more I gotta go down this road to try to explain that fruit is perfectly suited for the human body. But yet, what do we have here? We have the common current medical way of thinking that says, no, fruits have too much sugar. I would expect that from that bunch, because as I just said, they're coming at it from a totally different point of view. They don't know how the body works, obviously. So they're telling you not to eat what you were designed for, and instead go with foods that you were not designed for, which is why people wind up managing their disease instead of reversing it. All right, and case in point here, go to the American Diabetes Association website and just look at what they recommend on their website. They say everyone's body responds differently to different types of foods and diets, so there is no single magic diet for diabetes. But you can follow a few simple guidelines to find out what works for you to help manage your blood sugar. So basically, they just confirm what I just told you, is they will help you manage your type 2. Well, you know what? That's not good enough. You want to manage it or you want to reverse it? I'm sure you want to reverse it, right? And it's important to know what causes it. And I've already done a video about this. I've talked about how type 2 diabetes, when you get down to it, it's about too much fat in your cells. Your cells run on simple sugar, okay? That's just a fact. Your cells run on sugar, glucose. However, when your cells become filled with too much fat because of a high-fat diet, then the insulin, which is a hormone, can't allow the sugar into your cells. This is when you become insulin resistant. And the sugar, because it's got nowhere to go, just hangs out in your bloodstream. This is where people mistakenly think that we have a sugar problem, all right? The sugar's got nowhere to go. The sugar's not the problem. The sugar's the symptom. The real problem is the fat that's in the muscle cells. So what you do is you go on a low-fat diet. The fat comes out of your muscle cells. The insulin can finally start doing its job, meaning your insulin sensitivity improves. The sugar goes back into your cells where it belongs. Blood sugar goes down, and you are on the road to coming off your meds and reversing type 2. This is how it works, like clockwork for people that stick with the protocol, all right? This is to be expected, all right? But this isn't what they tell you over at the ADA. And certainly if you don't understand this, how could you ever recommend what to do? This is when you hear them say ridiculous things like, you know, there is no single magic diet for diabetes, when actually there is a whole food plant-based diet, and it's been proven time and time again. Maybe you saw the documentary What the Health, which featured this really shameful segment from a Dr. Robert Ratner, who now is a former top scientific and medical chief of the ADA, where he tells the filmmaker, we can't prevent type 2 diabetes in everybody. Any diet works if people follow it. I can't tell you what a proper diet is. So imagine this. This is a guy who works for the ADA, and he can't even give diabetics any hope as to reversing their disease, despite the fact that there's incredible amounts of evidence that shows that when you change your diet, you change your food, you can reverse type 2, all right? It is possible. It's not just, oh, there's a chance. No, you can do it. But you know what? You don't want to wait until, you know, things start to go south because you're not taking care of yourself. You know, when you don't feed your cells what they need, they could start to die off and go numb. This is where people get tingling in their fingers and toes, and you start looking at amputations. Your eyesight can even go. You don't want to go down this road, all right? And so, you know, you can't go to the ADA. You can't talk to your dummy doctor because they don't know anything about food as medicine. So knowing what causes type 2, knowing how you're built, knowing that fruit is your food, these are the kinds of things that will empower you so that you can take charge of your own health. So how do you incorporate this into making dietary changes? What you have to know is type 2 is driven by a high-fat diet, all right? So all you need to do is start taking the high-fat stuff out of your diet. Get rid of the animal foods, all right? I don't care what it is. It's all of it is fattening, saturated fat. You don't need it. Ditch the animal foods. I'm talking also about, of course, the milk, the dairy, the cheese, all that stuff. Get it out. Processed foods, they all have oil. They all have fat. Get rid of the processed foods, especially cooking with oil, using any kind of oils, and start eating more plant foods. There's plenty of foods there to eat. Fruits, vegetables, you can have potatoes, rice, beans, whole grains. Stay away from the high-fat plant foods. So stay away from the nuts, stay away from the olives, and from soy, and from the avocados and the coconuts, and just stick with the garden foods. Eat a lot of fruits. You'll be able to keep an eye on your blood sugar, your medications, and you'll be on the road to reversal by sticking to a whole food plant-based diet, which is low fat. All right, I hope that this video helped you. Hope that it made some sense. Great question. Let me know if you have any. If you have reversed type 2 with a whole food plant-based diet, drop it down below. Let me know how you did it. And if you are struggling with type 2 and you're not sure, like this makes sense, but you're not sure what changes to actually make, reach out, let me know, and I will help guide you to reversing your type 2. All right, this is what I do. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to share it with someone that you know who could really, really use it. Follow me on Facebook and on YouTube. And until next time, I want you to love yourself. I want you to eat more plants, and I'll see you soon.